Like the waiter comes to me, asks me if this is what we're drinking. I say yes. Then the waiter says, no, get something bigger.
And even under the guise of, man, oh yes, we're fighting social ills, but you're being a dick about it.
I can't give you that bottle anymore. And I had to cancel it. Then I'm like, oh, why? What happened?
Justice must prevail, and umuntu must be tried in the court of law.
The girlfriend came. Cheating is a passed down trait. She's like, yeah, I feel like I have this.
Yes.
I said, Google, please.
Now I'm going to put my career on the line for someone who did some absolute
Bullshit.
Come outside, babe.
Thank you for watching our video. This show is sponsored by DreamStream. DreamStream is a unique platform where creators can monetize their video content. All creators rely on support from people like you. Join us on the DreamStream platform to support your favorite creator and view the episode without any adverts. Follow the link in the description for a how-to guide. DreamStream, a place where you can create yourself.
Hi guys, welcome back to October the podcast. I am Khanya Mweli and I'm not alone, never alone. I am with my friend / co-host. What's your name? Never wants to introduce herself. Okay, fine. Okay,
fine. But because I introduce you all the time.
That's not my flow.
Okay.
Damn.
Okay, if you saying that's your flow, then I'll do it. It's fine.
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 What's
Okay.
your name?
Buhle Lupindo or Buhle Lupindo.
Period.
A sheep that never dies. Makade bekhulula zosifana.
Hey, and let me tag it in. I don't even think I'm the type to have a tag.
That would be your tagline.
Oh my words.
Yeah.
Anywho, how are you, darling?
I'm good. I had an amazing birthday. I spent it with my favorite people. We went to go eat outside and I said Solo, which we had a funny story about Solo.
What happened to Solo?
Oh,
that nigga. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so basically, no, I'm good. And then today I woke up and I was like, let me slowly start my routine. But other than that, man, I've been overstimulated. Can't overlook. But how are you, Ndaz?
I'm all right too. Now I've had like quite a sort of overwhelming, overstimulating day. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's been quite a
ride.
Hey, Sana, past like 3-ish weeks. It's just been, a lot has been happening.
Actually, there's a lot of too much that has been happening in a space of 3 weeks.
I swear. So I just haven't had time to just and just be zen. But otherwise, I'm good. We had a really lovely weekend.
Yeah, we did. We had such a wholesome weekend. After we shot with Uyoza, like a very spontaneous dinner that we did. Well, was it lunch. Dinner, like a lunch hangout thing? Me and Khanya actually woke up being craving like Ibrais, Lalene boys.
I do not recall ever saying that.
That's the first thing you said when I woke up. I opened my eyes. You said, the boys.
I don't even want to be a part of that narrative.
But outside of Planet Boys, but when you're craving, and we were having a heat wave. But even how our day ended, as much as we didn't get a bride, we didn't. It doesn't matter. We hanged out with Uyoza. We spoke even more. Like Khanya fell in love with her.
Oh, Yosa, if you're watching this. Love you.
Yes, you know. Okay, this whole week, can I tell you? She's been watching her content from beginning to start.
Because I've followed Uyoza for a long time, right? But then I was like, actually, come on, and I'm like, actually, because I'm just like, because after speaking to her and then trying to contextualize, everything, I'm like, sometimes.
Because I get that. I absolutely get that because. Now, when I started getting to know her, now watching her content, there's a different light in how you're watching her content. which was so beautiful. And we had the honor to even speak to her even more afterwards. So like the context of even watching. But that day was kind of was hilarious that day, because when we came back home it was fine. Oh, yours was so sweet. You paid for our drinks. And she was like, happy birthday. So like so cute, whatever. Anyway, when we went back home, son, Khanya, all she could say is that, oh, yours are chatting.
I cannot believe it, but she's single in this life. People are married, Buhle. And happily so. Not let me chat. Not let me chat. No, dear. No, people are actually happily married out there. That's obviously. I took a snap of us, but I ended up not posting it with. Oh, see, like I said, but where do?
Together and don't when you still up your chatting. Guys, after the episode, guys, also the impact she had on us, like Khanya even said the next day was like, we're taking dating seriously. But we kept joking. We're like, Gabe Learn Daughters was Tata serious in a podcast.
Does it? I swear. As the Samsung I post a snap, actually, I'll probably in fact post a snap tonight. I took a snap yesterday when I was in the kitchen talking about Lendo's 10 weeks in a podcast. Because like we're so wild. Like, and we even spoke about it. When did we take a walk yesterday?
Yesterday. The only type of man
I swear
who can date us is not secure, because we're yappers. That's it. Like, even though that's sure about themselves.
Exactly.
So we my husband, he's up next constantly. I may not reveal his name and true. But the stories are up next. So, but that left a big impact on us. And men are good people.
And don't like good, but we need to stop saying like I'm diabolical, because putting that out into the universe and so fake it, so we try, but that's it. But the thing is, we're so sarcastic. Like Isola even said to Buhle, I was like, so the universe knows that you're being sarcastic. Because we'll talk about something that like is really diabolical, but we'll be like, but man, if you ask people.
Okay, so you come back to it. But men
right, like
are good people. And nabo, they are trying.
They're trying their best. They're doing life for the first time. So
for the first time. Really. And nabobaya learn and unlearn and change.
Do you get where I'm coming from?
You
like
get me. Sifani. And then
no, we're wrong for that. We are so wrong. In fact, the podcast was that our
first episode. I've been watching that a lot this week.
Or something like that.
It told me.
Rest.
We need to stop.
Oh my God. But
I've been watching that video a lot this week. Thank you guys so much for the support in all other social media platforms. And I don't know, I've been reminiscing a lot with that video, because I don't know, man, I like rewatching things to understand how we felt at that moment and what we were thinking, like glimpse of hope, all of those things. So I like reminiscing. But anyway, besides,
I haven't watched that episode in so long.
Like I remember
there was that part you said you want to post that. Hi, I've changed. I'm no longer
because there's a part where in that video where I say, "Man, don't know when a man that's like knows that I'm vulnerable." I was like, "Ew,
hang it up,
you desperate."
You bullshit.
Oh no, I've changed so much. Every time I watch some of our videos, I'm like, oh, my thoughts have changed so much. But that's anyway, then on Sunday it was my birthday, which I had such a lovely day. I was, honored and privileged enough to share it with Khanya and Uzuzi, where just, I don't know, man, it made sense. Like, just us girls, like, oh, bekuhle, and
Cute.
basically cute, and benizixelele mna guys ngalamini banza hot, and ndizixelele
what?
I'm going to be very self-centered, and I was, but we went to Monte Casino, had dinner, and then after dinner, we had like quote unquote like final drinks at this place called Solo in Santon. Finding abinamsebenzi, the girls are up, like sizixelele, sizibhajetele futhi. We weren't expecting any, you know, receivements in those spaces. Normally you would kind of get finding abinamsebenzi. So now when I'm sitting there, khona le ndoda that like keeps passing like next to me, like keeps passing. Akomsebenzi, because like the couch is behind us and I'm sitting like this, and there's a couch like right in front of us where Uzuziwe is basically looking at me and Khanya. So me and Khanya can't see anything at the back. But diamane ndibona le ndoda imane izochama like. But in my head I was like, my qinisibindi le izothatha if it wants to. Fine, ingabi namsebenzi. So now brothers nyani ke aqinisibindi comes to like mumble something to me, don't even hear anything. But in the midst of that, I mention it's my birthday. Then he's like, okay, cool. I see him talking to the waiter. And while he's talking to the waiter, he's also like looking up at me. And ukubone someone who's like pointing, but not really pointing. And I can understand, but okay, kuthetwa ngam. Long story short, like the waiter comes to me, asks me if this is what we're drinking. I say yes. Then the waiter says, no, get something bigger, actually. Budget. Then I'm like, good shot. Whatever, get me that. Can I tell you, I went to the bathroom. When I came back, the waiter cornered me. He was like, Siswam, I can't give you that bottle anymore. And I had to cancel it. Then I'm like, oh, why? What happened? And I'm just like, oh, okay, what happened? And then he's like, the girlfriend came and canceled the shit out of that order. Was like, I'm sorry, I get her.
Like,
I
so
get her.
Fair,
so
because what the
fair.
hell? But at the same time,
like, yeah, Naflaka's introspect.
That's just another level of cheating.
I couldn't believe it. Okay, the plot thickens. So I'm like, oh, I'm confused. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, but I respect that. In my head, I'm like, why would he do that? Finding abinamsebenzi, I get to the table. I share this thing with, like, you know, the masses, which are my friends, and then we're all like, fair, like, we're all agreeing, but fair to that girl, good shot, like, but you see, come to find out. Everybody ate. But come to find out about brothers has been sitting right behind us with gal having a whole entire date.
Like, bro.
Saw watching towards us. She has been watching them and seeing them have a date, the drinks being served in their table, the girl even sitting like close to him. You know when you're in a date and you're sitting at a couch in Kandu brothers
like right here, bro.
Me and Khanya couldn't see her because we're like facing towards her like this. So now we're like, oh my God, I'm a daughter. Oh
diabolical.
My God. If the girlfriend wasn't there, we would have taken the bottle. Because of course. But
Sana.
Damn.
That was wild. That was wild as hell.
Crazy.
Like, I'm just saying, it's one thing to be a cheater, but to be a cheater in the same space, like, I always get shocked at behavior like that. I'm just like, like right here, goes right here. But remember, I've experienced something like that. That time, that thing I even told about. I'm gonna sit and tell show off. But we weren't dating with the guy. Remember?
What?
Which story?
Is a story? You know.
It's a story. Like the no go detained is not busy. Remember the story of that guy I was seeing, and then literally, because I'm like, it's one thing to
the girl who was friendly to you, can't we are yes, but
wait,
you won't take that.
No, it could be because a lot was happening literally during that time.
Lando da lacy Cape.
Yes. Man as well. But yes,
I want to. Okay.
no, but yes,
yes.
So now, like, basically, I've experienced that thing where it's like, like, maybe it was just. That's I was stunned. I was like, I've never seen something like this. Like, like this Mindy.
How do you feel in that moment?
I think because I liked him, didn't go, obviously.
Oh.
Yeah, it was him, didn't go, because I was just like...
Utin in that moment, now do you defend yourself, the disrespect, or do you sit back and let it happen? Then I
don't know. Okay, when I look back, I mean... That's it. Then it's Takanyula's West. Sorry. Now I'm going into the story. But like, fam, I said, like, do you know what happened? Like, it was more of like, already, man, even before we kind of had like our little thing, he want to say impawuzo bana uliqubusha. Do you get what I'm saying? But you know those things where you kind of like, whatever, and then we kind of started vibing. So now, like, I like the guy and all that stuff, and then like we're all hanging out. It's me, him, his friends, and like other girls and whatever. But like, I can see, man, but I know, man, this guy, like, agapolanga. Do you get what I'm saying? I can't put my finger on it, but I can just tell. And also, you know me, like, I'm someone who's very observant.
Yes.
So, you catch on quick by, man, condo off.
Yes.
Fine. So now, and also because I've never experienced something like that, let alone cheating necessarily. So for me, younger lady was a shock. Like, I'm just like,
you're like,
whoa, like, what's a controlling? Like, just say, for something like this. Like,
there's Gaba.
And I'm also just like, get off him. Off him. Like,
I love him.
Yes, in fact, guys, India is going to walk and they understand because everybody was a suspect. Everybody was a suspect. Like, when I tell you,
even his friends.
That's it. I swear, like, it's there. Guys, you can't make a line.
This is why people say it's cheating and now gaslighting, because you never show the interaction if it's real.
What is the fact that now I'm telling the whole story because you drama in the essence like that. Remember, it was in Tumumkulu. You know what? I'm not gonna lie.
No one's gonna know.
Guys,
switch off the music.
No. It's a story. Next December, and I feel like there's more detailed.
We have the time, Malisa. What's
your son's girl? My okay. Then this one girl, mind you, she was so nice. And like, but then and I popped off at her, like, you know what I mean? And then everybody was kind of confused by, boy, you popping off at her. But this is rubbish.
I'm the wrong girl.
Wrong girl, but like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, basically, there's absolutely no girl at all. It's like, there is a girl. In fact, there's multiple girls.
Actually, it's all of you.
So anyway, so I got up go, and then then that's when I was like, tomboy, but man, in fact, man, can't go to it, you know what I'm saying? Then obviously one marinator, land by my king. That's when I say closer man. I say one marinator man on some by man K. Wait.
You don't know what? Sukoleta baby ka umhle.
Utheni? Buhle.
Wena ungafika wayezifakela yena ngoqala.
Buhle understand yayi move when literally I feel like Nyana I will tell this story time ne but sawuqhubezela ngo but that's a story from whatever ningayihleka nibhubhe into endandu kuyo like yayi movie Buhle wathi bakuthanda ukoleta kodwa umhle. And like this is not the read the fucking room. This has nothing to do with beauty, bitch. Like
Guys, I also want to tell a story. Last weekend, my cousin was also here. They first meet in the passageway. Then I say hi. This is my cousin. I say hi. Then they both like, I know you. Then they both like, yeah, I know you. Fine. We shoot the episode. Again, they're like, yo, did you? Oh, you guys might know each other. You went to the same school. It's like, yes.
It was just like
that was the joke for the day. Anyway, tell the story, hello.
But anyway, yeah, man. Oh yes, so obviously wathetha loo nto ke ba kutheni nje ndikhwelete whatever kodwa ndimhlela la, and then obviously like I was livid and he was uzixele bakazondigodusa so ndahlala. But I say it was like a shit show after that. Like yavele West hey shit show like for real when Buhle like kusiyale. I remember being in the bathroom and I was wearing this maxi dress like dress. And then this girl was like I said and I was like, thank you. And then he was like, she was like, but how does it feel? That's it. And I knew exactly what she meant. It's Dimasam at this point. See mess. Like it's just all over the place.
What's it, Lopedu? How does it feel?
And I was like that. Obviously, I was confused.
How does it taste?
So sweet. So sweet. I was just like what? No. What? No, never mind. But mask I should be again. But it was a mess land, a drama. Like a drama. And umnikazi wayo ke wabe and gaslight about there's no such a thing. But to go back to Lando bana nyani like woman ukuqaphela though girls like nyani ezitshelwayo and tika though but ke bayathanda man they very hella defensive when it comes to their niggas.
And they're
because
defensive to the wrong person.
Yeah, to the wrong person. But can you see even now when you look at it from my perspective, it's one of those where but now will never act out on grilled. You
just told them
there's a moment of vulnerability. Because they could and I'm like, girl, literally.
But Kaloku, you see, I feel like it's different scenarios. There's scenarios where maybe in my situation, I didn't know, I didn't see. And if she came to me, this is why I respected that girl because she went straight to the waiter and cancelled that quickly, went back. She didn't come to me because I guess, I wasn't the issue. But surely, like, I beg disrespectful for the longest time there already.
That's it. You know what? She wasn't.
Oh,
but it was just more a thing of like, I didn't know her and they are close.
Yeah.
So for me, everything just looked sus, man.
Yes.
Like,
okay, I get
I'm saying, man, as much as they are together girls and it's just like, I need you think you're the wrong person. But when you look at it, like, that's so paranoid. Every single person.
Every interaction, you don't trust it.
Every little thing. But but at the same time, must I excuse and do better. Now I could call myself off, but I fucked up. And I'll never do it again. But that's a story. Whenever I talk about it, it's fucking hilarious. Because I'm just like,
every time you tell the story, there's a new element. I didn't know that part. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's how
I was like, fool.
I told him that's dandy crazy. I think also that's one of the things like the reasons I come by crazy because my mid party as well. So why are they in it?
Because umkhetho kokwakho le ndoda yakho. So selisa kabuhlungu.
That's it.
I get that. Yeah, so that was
live and learn.
Live and learn, bruh. That was my birthday, and then the rest of the week is history. So that's cool. How are you? Yeah,
man, how are you? Like, what's your take on cheating?
I had to do cheating. What kind of topic?
What's your take on cheating? Cheating bad cheat. Cheat is cool. As why?
I ain't cheating. I can't cheat.
Prove it. Cause a woman.
Prove it. Name.
Tell me a time when I cheated.
Tell me a time and place, and evidence. I'm so dead, guys.
I hate this.
I just want to say I support women's rights and wrongs. Even the wrongs. I support that.
Yes, Master. Oh, but Nyani, we actually should have a topic about.
No, we definitely will.
Infidelity, all of those things.
Yes.
Because Lendo went about Bandan experience.
Yeah.
Land. What's the experience about Dali and Tombi cheating? I got.
You know who would have fun with this topic? My sister. My sister loves sending me like cheating TikToks. There's one she sent me, but this therapist was explaining about cheating is a passed down trait. She's like, yeah, I feel like I have this. I said, Google, please don't excuse this.
It's genetic.
What went to a TikTok of this girl admitting how she enjoys cheating. The first time I did it, I was 9 years old. I felt such freedom. Like you don't tell her what she done at 9 years old. And remember that by cheating. I mean, if you can cheat at school.
Go away. I can't stand you. Actually,
cheat on Afrikaans. That's all I did.
Yeah. Now, okay, I should before singing. Now, grade 11, yes, but you ain't cheating because we weren't like messing.
What about cheating exams? I didn't cheat on exams.
Exams,
yeah.
No, I didn't. I was just a very scared child, so I think that's what you can just do in this one.
There was this one thing I didn't understand. I was like, I'm risking it for the biscuit.
From the next person. Where's that done?
I just wrote like not even crib notes. Danny never school. Sweated the answers away.
Enough is enough. Wrap it up.
No, but I wrote remember words. Something that was going to trigger. Just like one or two because my memory sometimes
can't. Did you go through with it though? Did you manage?
I did.
Because knowing you.
Don't just say, since Buhle Lupindo and we used to Buhle and it was huge and all the grade 8s and 7s. Beginners, man.
That's kind of
from the grade 7s, 8s, 10s, we'd all be and so the teachers walking around, that was easy. But I would never do it in a small class.
The minute I got out, I had to tell a friend. By the way, what to talk? Look what I did. Nazi answers essentially. Luckily, now the job is going. I'm so sick right now. Okay, let's get a good topic. Oh, what a long intro. Anyway, guys, today we're gonna talk about current affairs. Yeah, man. Long of a Jewish.
Yeah, man. That's so sad. That is so sad. If you know me and Khanya, you know that our favorite type of content is probably the UK content. And one of our favorite creators is definitely Young Philly and Chunks. Unfortunately, this whole week or even last week, a scandal. It's not even a scandal. It's an allegation, and I'm on the side of the woman. But anyway, the allegation came out that Young Philly had unfortunately did some bad things. I don't want to get demonetized, but just in case. I would say what he did, trust and best believe, was just monetization. It's weird on YouTube. But did some terrible things to a woman in Australia,
involving lack of consent.
Involving lack of consent. I love how involving a lack of consent, and he rightfully got charged for those, and he's awaiting a case. So the ongoing debate again is if he did it or not, which that is not our debate, but our debate is more of the disappointment of having men creators or celebrities and just waiting for the other shoe to drop. The disappointment of men. We didn't want to talk about it for 3 days.
2 days we were just yo.
And not because you anything generally being disappointed by a creative that you really, really like.
Yeah,
and
true.
I don't like a lot of men creatives, and when I do, I mean, and yes,
It really ruined the whole like hunky-dory idea that I had of
all
like
the
UK
videos.
creators. Because if you look at like UK creators in comparison to say, let's say like I wouldn't say necessarily South African, 'cause I
American.
don't watch that much of the males.
Yeah.
Thingy. But American, yeah. Well, now America, they quite crass.
Yeah.
Like whereas with
You
the
expect
UK,
that behavior from
as much
them.
as okay, I wouldn't even lie. Some of them, like for example, like what do you call it? Philly Chunks, Harry. Yes, nabo bebe nabo bukress nabo obthile. But hey, in the States, like they are.
It's even their lifestyle was crass.
Yeah.
Abaya
So,
were all talk.
but bukhona buwholesome obuthile wethu, I guess. But yeah, it spun me. I'm not gonna lie. Like it sucked. Like
Yeah.
it was the first time actually I experienced where I'm like, hey, it's not a celebrity. Like it kind of sucks. Like it's like, yo,
Like,
hell.
like,
Like, no, for real.
Indlela besiheard guy we're like because that's the unfortunate thing when men do these things, because you don't just taint your own brand, like you taint everyone else around you. Because well, as much as like I would love to watch the rest of the boys, of course, because you know they're not part of it. But again, it's like and also nina nithini ngalento, and I don't know, man. This threw me off.
It really did, but at the end of the day, Mdase, like justice must prevail, and umntu must be tried in the court of law.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, umntu needs to pay for like their sins and the consequences of their own actions. Like, and it is what it is. And it's unfortunate when you look at it and it's like, mana, oh my gosh, like as you're saying, it affects everybody around them in the sense of like even your inner circle now, because people tend to even ask questions like, "Oh, Chanks, mana." What are you saying? Whatever, you get what I'm saying. So, it's tricky because it's like,
how do you feel about
like,
how do you feel about when something like this transpires and people expect immediate maybe
like
communication,
yes, yeah.
maybe from the friends and the family? Do you think maybe people can be a little bit unfair to the people also who are around?
Yeah, like in a way, Shem, I do want to say, yeah, simply because like if we look at things as
people,
the fact that they layered, right?
Okay, yes,
like
yes.
not even in a way that's taking away from the victim, because we never want to do that, and because the main focus of this whole thing is the
victim
who experienced
first.
this violation.
Yes,
but at the same time, like sitting here as umtu or innocent who didn't do anything but Buhle did something.
Yeah.
Now I must sit here and demand Jesus for something that I didn't do. Do you get what I'm saying? And expecting me to immediately say something when, number one, I'm also grieving. You know what I mean? A loss of a friendship.
Yes.
Like now I'm probably sitting here confused, especially
Yes.
if I'm funny, no.
Yes.
Yes. It spins you. You know
it
what
warps
I mean?
you, because now you question
you're like,
your
but you're like, like, why? Did you get what I'm saying? And then also, there's a thing of, man, there's also legal proceedings involved. So now you can't even speak out of turn, because it's one of those where it's like, yay, babes, but papers, you know? And then there's also careers involved where it's like, now I'm going to put my career on the line for someone who did some absolute bullshit. You know what I mean? So it's tricky, but I can understand how people... But you know how the public is, bro. Sometimes I feel like I'm not reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I said that's exactly how I also feel. And going back to Landoba of not being reasonable, now I do believe like give those people around them a chance to also to grieve, to adjust naboba. Okay, their life has changed, especially maybe someone like Chunks who had a whole podcast with him, and now he needs to decide, does the podcast end or does he continue with someone else? And that was his bag at the end of the day, and he could probably also be equally as upset at him as we are. So he needs to also find a way, or a healthy way, to communicate that. I do believe giving people time to process like something terrible that has happened like that, for the victim's sake also. But victiming, I feel like all his celebrity friends now are coming out and having all these statements to say, because it takes away from the actual case, if all chunks and all of them, everyone who was associated with young Philly came out and spoke about this and where they stand, whether they believe the situation or not, what that does is that we stop talking about what young Philly did.
Yes,
we start analyzing about no chunks and how maybe they did the video and how they didn't say the right things and all those things. And then it takes away to the actual case of it being about that woman. So I do believe, letting it simmer and sit and letting something play out, and then only after maybe you can have a proper response of having certain and at the end of the day, when you're silent on social media long enough, people forget, and by the time you come back, process because everyone is acting out of emotion when they hear it. So,
and I think sometimes I hope what I'm trying to say is not insensitive, but I sometimes people expect people who were not there when something was happening to have something to say.
Yeah.
Because how can you expect me as a chomi or Australia to comment on something that they were doing alone and was no testifiable. Hey party, khangangene kula hotel room okanye okanye flight uyikhwele what? Do you get what do you say do you get what I'm saying? I literally can't. There's no comment I can make. And at the end of the day, what we can sit here as a public, we can sit here and hope is that they believe the victim.
Yes.
And that's and that they politics was like that. But in terms of actually coming out and saying something about it now, it's a very tricky thing to ask.
Yeah, I do understand the other side of the debate when it comes to this, because a lot of the times when something like this happens, it's not the first time. And maybe this is the first time someone actually spoke about it. So what people tend to want to hold people accountable is that
why were you guys harboring
exactly. And also
trigger
then
warning, sorry. No, but seriously, where's friendships?
And now, with that being said, now we have to also question the whole group, is to say, but how many times has this happened in front of you and you are okay to let this go? So a lot of people are waiting for that. But hey, not to say, this is why sometimes even Amadora, but Amadora, I don't know, man. I don't know, because I don't know, as women, when something happens once, we're already yes. So maybe you're not sure how. You're let me hang out with her again.
One more time.
You
you have 30 minutes.
30. And then we're quick to be okay, cool. And then that's where the conversation of women are so satanic conflict.
Yes, I like
comes
this
from
angle
that,
coming with.
because Tina, we really watch our friends and we hold our friends accountable. I'm not gonna lie, friendship women, I mean, if friendships zamantombazana nyani, because sonke we hold each other on very high moral grounds, and I do agree we can sometimes we on that shit. We can, read the room.
Yeah,
we can pick and choose because we get exhausted. But I don't think men do it enough.
They don't. They don't bother. And that's a point in case. I remember I had that episode with us where we were talking about guy friends and whatnot and how I have experienced situations where friends and kulanas or whatever allegation and whatnot, and obviously I'm completely I'm out and especially, and another big thing I used to say, Buhle, especially this is way before the podcast, but because I already go social media and and I've always been that person on social media, but hey, Nina, I'm here for the girls, I'm here to fight for the girls, you know what I mean?
Women's rights
I could never, you know. And with that being said, a lot of people that I was friends with would remain friends with ABC and D. And that's when I even started distancing myself from a lot of my guy friends in East London, because I used to be into any and this was Nina as a brass, Nisa Ubana and by your highway to
because Nina Moyiki, Nina Moyiki, because at the end of the day, I think that's how a lot of the times I think men look at it. He's not assaulting us.
but y'all be safe with that shit.
Y'all be safe.
Yeah.
As a girls, figure it out.
But I think it is like
because bayayazi amadoda, but if that would happen to one of their guy friends, like I've seen situations.
But with them, I say, I feel like amadoda, how they handle situations on like when as Lalin, how things are handled.
Yes.
As Lalin, it's like, okay, so better on your part. Like next time something like
inkomo though.
Which is fucked up.
It's crazy.
Ostracize this person.
Ostracize. So that as my behavior yakhe ayikho warranted. Makahamba yosela ibhiya ayekuchisa nyama yedwa. Ayohlala
kabani khona. Badi oluselo chisa nyama.
Akalungena lokho. Siyaboyela bendlu. And it really what the one question I want to ask like men constantly when we have these type of conversation is that since Ninani attracted to women, and a lot of the times like when you go to fun places ebumnandi nokusela nayazba nizeli girls kumandi mosixoxe nathi side siyithethe as girls ba ekhona ibase nabo they even say ba bekhona birds no. I would assume if you want to chill with girls, be happy, and as girls reciprocate the energy of boys, that you'd want to keep them safe.
In a safe space, yes. To the point where, problematically so, there's normally like guy friends where whenever like I introduce them to like my other like girlfriends, be like, oh, one thing about them, my girlies are gonna be safe. They're gonna be whatever, which should be like fish swimming. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
But I'll talk about it and be like, oh, okay, one thing about Bona shame,
yes.
So if we are from like if choice as Bola
and that's the one thing I wish I can tell like men is that, you know, when they are safe. That's correct. Diabolical. And then funu endorse but
yes.
Like when you treat a woman right, basuke bafuna uyithatha
ngethova
khayicenge massage bayadika and stop.
And they've made having relations with them so difficult, especially on a platonic level. It's so tough because creator uthandayo, it's just like, okay, this guy like uyangichaza.
I used to even have guy friends like, if mnani bafuni and like I know you're a good guy and like 10 out of 10 you take care of me and all these things, like when you are my guy friend, the way I have such beautiful friends, trust me, like maybe soon phone, like I'll put you on to my right friends. Like, girls is amazing, right? And I've put on so many of my good guy friends, like, to some of my really, really pretty friends. And, because I can trust that they will take care of the girl and whatnot. How gay relationship with Kuba after that? For real. So, boys, and talking about, like, you know, social media and, like, court cases. What do we think about online apologies?
Oh, my dear. I have so many. I'm sure this is are you talking regarding what was happening on social media now?
Yeah,
with
in general,
lady?
and
that lady. So you got along with that. We don't have anything bad to
we don't have anything bad. Yeah.
In fact, no opinions, must tool. But online apologies. I feel like, especially in the case of what was happening this week or last week. Was it last week or this week?
Okay, let me give a round of for people who don't understand. So this week, there has been an ongoing debate about multiple conversations that are very important.
Yeah.
Very, very important. And a lot of people should be held, held in a certain standard when it comes to these topics because they have aligned themselves in being like almost activists in this conversation. Now with that being said, by the way, it's the Chris Brown conversation. Now with that being said, within those debates, there were a lot of people who had a way of, having these conversations not in a nice way.
Yeah.
But basically, long story short, by being mean
and
like utukisa and just to draw your point across. Then what that eventually ended up happening is that those people about Tugiwe or by those people, they lawyered up and served them letters.
And they said, so not dinner degrees of ngak. Yaboto chokumakhulu
okafundanga na fundile damazi udambithu umsandoni. So being served, and we only know that they got served because those people had the same apology letter that they wrote on social media, which I would assume that the person asked for a public apology because the insult was a public insult. So it's only fair for you to say the insult. Yeah. But when it comes to a public apologies, that's not a new thing. It's not new at all. Yeah. People have done things online when then they come back online and they apologize, whether to the audience or to the people that they said that thing to. But now Tina's stated specifically about people who got served and just in general, like public apologies. I hope that makes sense.
So with this particular incident where people got served, I feel like at the end of the day, it did set a precedence.
Whether you mean it or not.
Whether you mean it or not, like we're, you know what I mean, as Jaiveli, the same beat, you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, I mean, obviously when you read that thing where everybody has the same script, it's kind of like, ugh, nobody means this. And like, back at the ranch, but I still think that. You know what I mean? So, because now I wasn't necessarily hella engaged on that topic and what was happening and reading it, I can't sit here and be like, oh, okay, after seeing that apology, my opinion has changed because I didn't have an opinion to be. Like, I would sit here and wonder about people who did have opinions about the particular person who sued.
Yeah.
Has it changed now that she's made people apologize for thinking what they think about her? Do you get what I'm saying?
I absolutely get you. I was watching it from a distance and I was agreeing with most of like how people felt about that situation. But I think I've come to realize there's certain battles you must pick. And I think another thing that's lost on social media is age differences. Like there are people who are 19. Actually, there are people who are 16. And then so much as far as people who are in their 60s and even further. And now, if someone is slightly older than you, they've evidently lived a longer life than you, ne? And this means that they've collected some sort of resources in their lives. Whether you think that person is wrong or not, une resources. Maybe when unazo as a person who is in varsity. For me, I think it's okay to have a healthy debate and to call abantu abadala out
and be like,
on certain behaviors, especially abantu abadala who are wanting to be on social media and interacting with social media because with the youth, love that, who are interacting with the youth, because you can have social media and interact with the age mates, but if you also want to partake into the youth conversations, you have to be ready to be called out by the youth, because that's where the learning comes from when as umdomdala also, because there are things my younger peers that also teach me that I also need to take in. But with that being said, there's a way to conduct like a conversation online, because lamtu unemali onganayo, and for them it's not about you mean that apology. It's about the fact that they sit in spaces where they also need to be respected, and you can't just say things to that person because they also sit in spaces where they need to be respected. So they need to enforce respect however way, whether that conversation it's you are right or wrong. So I don't know, man. I just wish like abantu can pick their battles. Like udebate nawe Khanya, that's easier because singontanga and ngakubetha unye it push comes to shove. But omnye outside of serving letters, let's think of the extreme. Bakhona amanye abantu khwele Uber ngoku ayokubetha unye kokwenu who have that resource to have the money to drive to your place. Makavule pha. Doesn't remember that Twitter guy.
Come outside.
But
babe.
come outside.
Come outside.
Nasesasibindi. And maybe now unasesasibindi uphume nilwe nyani and rock. But I think like I don't know, man. I'm not now, so I think that's why I was like, this is crazy.
This is wild. I think Buhle, like, you know how now as the youth we've come to this thing where we like, if we are delela, mphendule. And I'm very big on that. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know how like we grow up and makas sly or whatever, sideways, whatever the case may be. I'm for that. But I think in this particular situation, like, I'm still like, at the end of the day, bruh, like, but I'm just being black about it. Or being Khanya, just in case song is fun. But Lando Yobana, say, they have to provoke me that much for about at least get the dumb bitch. Like, the fact that Lam Tukanga took away specifically, do you get what I'm saying? Like, yes, the issue does affect us all. Do you get what I'm saying? But I think it's very far-fetched a little bit to go directly and be like, dumb bitch, when she never added you. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She never added you. Yes, she never added you for you. You could have just had the healthy debate without calling her a dumb bitch. Normal.
That is my thing. And that is my thing. I feel like when you're gonna have like certain conversations that are sensitive, like EGBV, there's certain languages that you're going to try to avoid because you're trying to set a point across, because without distraction, because the real conversation is about the victims.
Yes.
You see, now they changed the whole conversation and not about the victims, but about the fact that so there's something about like throwing your carts outside of toys outside of your cart when you can't have a healthy debate. I constantly say this to people, but I don't think I'm always right. Generally, I don't think I'm always right. I think I read enough. I think I understand enough. I think all these things, and I think I have opinions enough. But I always leave room for learning and unlearning and constantly changing my mind and debate. But within that debate, singaba nayo mani healthy debate is some sort engatifike ba situkselana. I say when I reach a point of siyatukselana bandifuna ukuthuka, I stop. Because it means there's nothing I could ever say to prove my point to you, and there's nothing you could ever say to prove your point to me. Ngono siyeke, and talk to the people that will understand this conversation and will learn from it. This is where I lock my account.
Yeah,
I'm like,
in fact, Koko, enough is enough.
From 10 timelines away.
There's this meme, and you know that, okay, I'm going to describe this, ne? There's that picture of that nigga that looks drunk, or you lawyer, or you why is in there? And then there's a caption, but city your honor, that's them, that's y'all. City your honor, talk with charge. City your honor, city moms, or kabunya moms. So but that's Johnny.
Because the new meme see China no lia eti le yala that guy. Pardon me,
Lord. Pardon me, my lord.
Pardon me, my lord.
I forgot there's a second line, but I forgot it.
You are done that. Pardon me, my lord. It's so brilliant, but truthfully, but at the end of the day, like, you know what, we live in a new world where we can sit in the same tables as young people and as having grown-ups and have productive conversations and call out, you know, our adults. And we need to constantly call out the adults because this is how, like, things evolve and become different, where, you know, you tell the adult however they grew up and what they think is right is probably not the norm and not the right anymore, because people evolve and human behavior also evolves. So you constantly need to check your morals and check in now as umdomdala, because you are moving in a new world, and, you know, the young people do set the pace of social media standards at the end of the day. Just because you use social media, and you should, but it doesn't a lot of the times the social media has always been trended by younger people.
Yeah.
The conversations, the challenges, and etc. etc.
Yeah. No, I think God Hashem, I won't even lie. Like, I just feel like there's like on social media, people really need to stop this thing. Like in Dikile, we in this very deep era of being rude to one another.
Yeah,
and
when you don't know each
especially
other.
on Twitter, like people are so mean. Like, and remember we even had a conversation about this like off screen when we were talking about mana. Head girls and head boys of Twitter. Ever since also the super woke people left Twitter.
The grown up
mean felt like, oh yes, it's our time to shine. It prefects us. Do you get what I'm saying? And our future prefects us shame. Because you're
who's monitoring.
Yes. But it's like the problematic people have found a way to go back to being problematic. In even under the guise of oh yes, we're fighting social ills, but you're being a dick about it. Like every single time, like it's like I don't know, like it's like okay, I can understand if even that, like super.
I feel
just
like
close the app.
Close the anyone app. Who wants to be like who wants to be seen now as socials,
yes,
and you want to be a prefect and you want to hold the conversation, you want to drive the conversation, you want to pull the conversation, you want all these things. At least it's Sutika if you want to be that person, because even ne prefects is yana nazo zazika. Nah, you can't make a joke because wow. Who wants to be a prefect? We are dika, bruh. That's dika prefect. That's a school. That's dika.
I won't was it. That's it's the game because I tell I high school glory.
I used to be that a little bit.
It's like, bro, hang it up.
And also, it's like a competition of who
knows best clap back. Also, like who
and who knows best, like. And it's okay. It's not different opinions, but like
I didn't life.
Deep low. Life. Was our socials. Oh my god.
But yeah, man. Okay, cool. Moving on. Oh my gosh, we're on the third. Okay, Hashem. Okay, going back to sort of. Okay, I know how this is gonna tie into what ne. I'm going to tell them that actually probably. They go bunch of it. But the whole thing, the Coke Cups, the small situation where apparently, allegedly, he took. I mean, a picture was taken of him by his side chick. By two. What's your take on that?
Ties back to like cheating.
Ties back to like cheating. Allegedly.
I've already expressed my emotions about cheating, but what made me really laugh about that picture, I saw humor in that picture, is that like, you know, like normally as our videos, maybe like he's not dressed, and like you can tell about Koko, but la picture is so vague in the sense I'm sure jean and really saw like he's sleeping who's sleeping out of tiredness, and who, like maybe kufikiwe khange ide yenzekile ubisiza ukwenzeka waqoma hayi sendile. That's what I saw in that picture, but
I didn't even notice if he was clothed or not. Watch
nendoni everything uhleli so.
For me, that situation is wild as hell. Amanda Mazana, first of all, are wild. And I'm not even going to lie to you. I know it's probably going to upset a lot of people. But there's a certain...
Okay, you actually... yes.
And there's a certain commonality in behavior. Yes, side chicks. Do you get what I'm saying? And yes, no bongi. Like, bongi is one of my friends. Where's laugh at niggas? How the fuck are you trusting someone who's breaking your marriage? Are you insane? That's why I never understand like a nigga who wants me to be their side chick. Like either I'm telling on you. I don't give a fuck about what's going on here. I'm destructive as someone. It's just as an individual, I do not want peace with anything. I'm ruining it, bro.
Yes.
So what? Side chicks are always gonna do diabolical things. Trust and believe me. So again, that's it. The minute you take a side chick, my You can the opinion after that. Like, I just don't understand it, Buhle. Do you get?
I absolutely get you. This is, you see, okay, I support women's rights and wrongs. Now I'm speaking to the wrong part of women. Yeah, but to the wrong part of women. If you've dedicated your life, you're okay with being a side chick. Don't favor one.
Now walk with me.
Distractive as fuck.
Because
don't let that man breathe. Yeah, funimali. Be a side chick for real. And difuna umani umthreatenisa ukuthi uzamxela.
Uyi-extortionist ke lo ngoku.
So that is your job. That is your job. To make that man's life a living hell.
Because what is going on here?
Because I think we've lost the art of side chicks.
Of side chicks.
Because that's comfortable.
No, it's not lost. Because because
men have gotten comfortable because there was a time Amandomazana were quiet. Now it's time for them not to be quiet. Because they can't bet on silence anymore. But also men don't care.
By secret got on Pimal. Side chicks upamben. Ufuna post 100k woman unisendela yona.
Eza Gucci shoes.
Upamben. Unthengela imoto.
George, zippy Gucci shoes.
You crazy? I wouldn't do that.
But
what feel like call if to scabes Koko. I call it yo, guys.
But okay, now that we're talking about like side chicks today, now I say mana mabanga yenzi lando going to woman. Lena coming to you as a woman. Let the woman find out themselves.
But going back to Umdumdasa, who's diabolical enough to be a side chick. Everything is, what's the words now? Oh, don't go.
Fair.
Fair. Do you get what I'm saying? And what's even worse, the fact that nothing like a woman scorned. I also don't catch his feelings. Like, no, because don't so I don't have a choice right now. You have actually pushed my hand. You forced my hand.
I can't breathe.
You forced my hand. Jimmy, that's why I'm like, I'm a daughter. I like because they don't learn. They do not learn. They do not learn.
TikTok, George, where's the shoes?
Where's the shoes? Zip.
Who knows, George?
Who knows? Me. Sana. Because no, that's honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Like Indo side chick, guys. That's actually a topic we can actually talk about on another episode. But I just feel like I wish.
Do you know? Honestly, again, this is my problematic view. Women's rights and wrongs. Don't ever forget that. I think the only time I can kind of sort of understand being a side chick when you're in your 21s, 19s, because you're so impressionable and you're so easily khateka.
Yeah.
There's something about when you land in your 20s and 26 where you still, upholding those same values.
Yeah.
Because men at the end of the day lie so much. Like, I've experienced this, like, by going out in the clubs and, drinking this free alcohol and whatnot. It's part of the culture of, like, discussing culture from men, but, I mean, from us too, as young girls, of growing up. But with that being said, like, there is a level of shifting in thought now when I reached 25, 21, where I was like, oh no, Menkato Apa, like, that was quite weird.
He's not leaving the one.
He's not ever.
He loves it.
I've never been in that situation, but I've been in a situation where I can blatantly tell about by someone who's married.
Who's married, yeah.
And maybe he's liking one of my friends and we know, and you look the other way. But I can't do that now. Like, I don't know, like, it's part of growth, and this is why I'm maybe in a younger, but I also feel like we must get to a point where we're teaching young people about cool land. It's actually finding out that men are predators in that situation.
Yeah, that's it. And the thing is also, what I wanted us to actually talk about was Lando that we spoke about at home about bana amadoda don't have sexual discipline and they find themselves at jiving or and hence I go back to Lando bana the mere fact that was associated now no ni diabolical no by two by the way
no
but ni diabolical no by two so the she must be the better off person
no she's not doing that so magafota
so that's why ni fought one is born and said jiving
Australia because that sexual discipline home where you, let's say Uyam Philly was going to perform in the club, go home, perform, drink your donon and whatnot, go home uyolala. Like
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing in a foreign country? Wasn't
you don't know the rules of that country. You know nothing about that country. And one thing I know about Australia, I think it's Australia. This is not the first time. One thing about Australia with which I wish they could implement in South Africa is that their sexual no, they take it seriously. The women there are highly, highly protected. So like even things like that, not that I'm condoning, but in another country you must do ubu, like do whatever. But I would expect you to be smart enough to realize there's certain spaces you can't act a certain way.
Because they don't want to learn, bruh. I feel like honestly, like it's crazy because I was speaking to like I don't know if it was one of my cousins or something, and I was like, I do not understand the obsession that men have with sex. It scares me.
It scares me too.
Like nathi siyayithanda, all fair and well, all you know what, but bona you'd sweat like ngathi ngathiwa ngomso iphelile. If awuyenzanga right now,
they say men are the least hired in morgues. In morgues, because they sleep with dead bodies.
So demonetize them.
Okay, men are least hired in certain spaces. Even in hospitals, like if a person is in the ICU, a lot of the time the care is never a man because abantu who are in comas with that, men do something. Every space a man is in, there's always lende sex. I understand. Animals. Like yonkindo, it's just disgusting. So this is why I'm saying like also like as a side, there's nothing special about you because also there's this history of showing that amadoda will stick it in anything. So it's like
you're not better than the wife.
No, you're not. You're not special.
In fact, when better wife and divorce unless Kenyan, she's severely fucked. Then that's another story. But you know what I'm saying? When literally all he can just tell you is promises.
Yeah,
and that's about it.
And that's about it.
We've seen how that has happened in history in the promises. But yeah, and then moving on to one last topic was a relationship, the Calvin Momo and Babalo situation about them allegedly breaking up.
You know what? As people who as someone who's also attracted to men, the one thing I'm very sure about is that being attracted to men is embarrassing.
It's humiliating.
It's the fact that you have to risk you will be embarrassed. Like that's the upsetting part about being attracted to men is that there's a high chance possibility. Not sihleli apha sine opinions ezinkulu. Like you guys, like you'll be embarrassed.
Enough down. Not too much of a girl.
And I don't know the full story behind that. Like, I don't know if they broke up after, before, and now this is a cheating. Is it a cheating?
Yeah, I don't know. Nama, I don't even want to go too much into the fact that it's a cheating. It's just more of like they're breaking up, and then now he's so quickly in another relationship, right? And I think I'm not more than what I wanted to delve into is how people are saying, man, this whole building a man thing and whatnot, and people are just feeling some type of way, but like they kind of hustled together, and now like he's in the limelight, and then he's like,
the one thing I can say is that like, again, being attracted to men is embarrassing. I want women out there to realize that I think the best, it's not by chance when people say, man, when you enter a relationship, you have to be mentally, physically, okay, because you need to make a lot of conscious, healthy decisions. Because one thing men do, they suck. your energy, your style, your everything, your personality, your work ethic, everything. And unfortunately, the same way women are raised to be providers, men are to provide to be nurturers. Men are also raised to be providers, and the downside about being raised to be a provider is that kutiwa, you can step on a back of whoever to get to the top. So a lot of the times, this is why they can keep a lot of the same friendships, no matter how problematic their friend is, because kubo, that is a transition, and there's something that they can get out of that relationship. Whereas in Tina, we look at friendships as more as an emotional and nurturing,
like
how you make me feel. So when you're a straight woman and you get into a relationship with a oh my mom, I'm shooting, and then get into a relationship with a straight man, be ready for that man to take a lot from you, and for you to understand that your how you were raised is to be a nurturer, and a lot of the times you're gonna help that man build. This is why relationship because when you gonna lose more because of how you are you are raised being a nurturer. So unfortunately, that thing for Kevin and Babala and everyone involved is that that's how men move.
That's how men move, Mdase.
When
it's so sad.
When they've taken enough from you and they feel like they can't build any more from you, they out.
But luckily for her, at least her career now is like all good and whatnot and stuff. But it really sucks to come from the trenches with Umtu, and then you guys are at this place.
It's
and
unfair.
Guys have made it, and then the other girl just gets to be like live
your dreams that you say. Just make sure that you guys also build yourself. Like when a man takes in a relationship, now it now it ubaba lo makayothatha hits indoni
you know. But another thing, people also talking about how one thing about amadoda is that once they make it, they go for it types. But I was like, so I was like, not too much on my girl.
We're not too much on my girl.
Not too much on my girl.
No, that's
as fuck, so please.
It's a comparison.
It is. And then they were also talking about how.
And also, I hate that you guys equate women to just beauty, because yes, we can understand there's different desirabilities with each woman, but each woman is bringing a different thing on. Baba is talented. She was a musician. You guys don't know what she provided for Kevin in that relationship. You don't know the business, the mindset that she also... Her contribution in that relationship doesn't end with just her beauty. It doesn't end there. So she could have done even more. And there's reasons why also Amadoda date that woman. There's a reason why Kevin dated Ubabal. It was never about the looks. But Nayazi, Aban Baga social media are just watching it from a face value. And being like, oh, she's pretty and all these things.
Yeah.
You were saying.
And then another thing I wanted to say is that people are going on also about the fact that, she sang the song, Amalobolo and whatever. And like, and she didn't. And I was like, this is actually not the first time where I see people speak about like someone making a certain song and then trying to really equate it to their real life. Like, do people understand that musicians also write things for the sake of it?
Also, musicians write things on what they're going through. Pilanto of remembering that musicians are artists.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Who are poets.
Do you know how we always talk about Landmana? Sometimes when you're tweeting, it's not a tweet on something I'm going through right now, but it's like maybe something that you're seeing that's happening around you, or one of your friends, and you're like, hey, I caught like a look at my dad. Not because I experienced something I caught like a right now, but I want to write about it because they think, but yeah,
exactly.
In fact, so I'm like, what makes you guys think that maybe she was sitting there begging him for Bamakam Lobol? What if she was hella chill about it?
Yes.
It's just, and also looking at the theme of her songs, a lot of her songs are mostly like about love or heartbreak or whatnot, and those themes.
Yes.
So it's like, I think more than anything, it goes back to that thing that's a way, I hate the fact that like, whenever there's a breakup involved, there's always something that gets demonized about the woman. And it's annoying. It's like, oh, like it's always somewhat of like her loss. What if Naya
his loss?
What if Naya not on by infection? It's like
it's that one upping thing,
yes.
It's that one upping thing because who's to know how long those people had broken up, masqale up, and only now maybe Kevin decided ba maka release a picture yakhe nomntu wakhe, and now all of a sudden ba love is what is happening now. Like
you don't know, and I think it even makes me think of that thing that we were talking about your banner, even like with your like separation, whatever breakup, where people were trying to get into your head, but you know where I go,
yeah,
and it's like, what if I go? I'll go. But do you get what I'm saying? But it's like, what if I go? And what if by the time the story has broken out, I've stopped caring? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's the whole thing, even when we even go back to the whole Bix and Casper situation and like with the wife right now, where once they had just broken up and then chatted and Ndombazana, and then people were going off about, I can't imagine how she feels. And it's like, how do you guys know? Okay, now that we know, obviously, let's go. But it's like, back then, what if she was just like, actually, goodbye to that cheater?
Yeah.
Like, good riddance to bad rubbish.
Actually,
why must the woman always be like, she's like some pity party, like,
what if she was like, good shot, Hamba Casper, I can focus on my child.
And it goes back to that thing that's of how I think people used to have this conversation on thingy all the time. Is Kate saying something?
No, I think she's just
up on Twitter all the time about how people tend to sort of like instead of the person who actually did the heinous act.
Yes.
Why? What did she do wrong? Or what did he do wrong? Instead of about week what? But seriously, it's like instead of us actually just surrounding the person who's experiencing this terrible thing and just being positive and showing them love, our first thought is that
we want to gravitate to the goer part because that's something a lot of people can have a longer conversation about.
True.
And can misery, we like it because Sati, we're happy about him, and then what?
Must change.
Says on podcast.
You are bad, yeah. Okay, cool. And then we actually have 3 more. How many should we do? Should we carry on? 3? Okay. Well, okay, cool. Then like one last in the love sort of aspect is about like Stormzy and Victoria Monet. How do you feel about them together?
First of all, I didn't even know that Stormzy no Maya Chama broke up. I was first dealing with that heartbreak.
Yeah.
I was like, Bendimtando Stormzy no Maya Chama.
Yeah.
First of all, I think Stormzy is so hot.
I also think so. Yeah.
He's so hot. Like,
but can I say something problematic?
Is he hot or is he hot because of Lemal?
I think so. Can I say something problematic?
Yeah.
I didn't try it. But like,
walk with me.
He called up South Africa. Walk with me here. Walk with me there. He called today. Window to South Africa.
Get out.
But customs. Now who is Khalifa? I can hear them out. But as Indo South Africa, why you not called? I was done.
They say, are you saying even if gold, you just South Africa and Mali would still be?
I am.
Because it grills.
It gold. But you got busy permanent clothes goes to pump in.
But Stormzy has that permanent one.
I think it's a silver tooth. And all right for that, yes.
Yeah, I'm funny and cute.
This has to count as classism. I'm not gonna lie to you. It has to. Sorry, guys. I'll do better.
It's you calling yourself out. But because but at the same time, title storms maybe umbeke Durban. Only bad bago storms.
Usamfuna yombeke cumakala.
Kaya.
Yeka umfuna ndingamoyika. I'd be so afraid.
I can't be.
Get that man away from me, son. No.
This is what I'm saying, but it's because it's him. It storms you, no man. But first I was grieving the Maya Jama thing. I was so shocked, but I think it's so hot. But I also think Victoria isn't like her. She's hot right now. Like she's in a hot phase. Who maka dating boys like
Makabe within.
Makabe within.
I wonder though what happened, man, with the thing with the baby daddy. I really wonder. They never really spoke about what actually happened, but it's just like, and they said it's not infidelity.
The only TikTok I saw now was by this woman saying, as a man, being hot can get you so far. Being hot can pay the bills. Being hot can no. Which I also feel like it's a little bit problematic because we are the same women who say, we're fighting for equal rights to also have men be okay with us being breadwinners. So if that was the situation, we don't know what the situation is, which I can understand why everyone alluded to the fact that it could be a money thing. Because
it's a brokey.
Maybe it's not even broke, but compared to Monet right now, like she's definitely the breadwinner of the house. So I don't know if that is the case. I feel like Nati as women, we need a little introspection because we can't say we're fighting for like certain rights to be okay with being breadwinners in our households, and then when we are, we also it's a preference thing. I think it's a preference thing, but maybe Victoria's preference was the fact that I'm gonna work hard, something, and then nothing happens.
But guaranteed way to maybe it might not even be that because honestly, I think all of us are privy to the fact that in relationships, it's never just like level like this. Like there are gonna be times where you and your partner, like maybe your partner's doing a little bit like more, and you are. Do you get what I'm saying? Like even if my city, your partner's like a gazillionaire and you like a stay at home, whatever. Your partner could even go broke, you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that you're just gonna be vamoose and be like, that's over, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
the one thing I can say about women shaming in Tina, we are we endure a lot of pain. Yeah. And I feel like some men can't. I can imagine. This is all speculations. We're not saying this is what happened between Moye and that other boyfriend. What's her name? Whatever. With her other boyfriend. But, I've heard enough cases from women who come into money and then men feeling inadequate. Yeah. And they starting acting out. And because you see it with like Kiki Palmer and the ex-boyfriend.
My exes.
But we are
aren't they still together? But they're still together.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. But of that
feeling, some type of way.
Feeling some type of way.
Because your
came
goal
from the
is
fact
like,
that Ukiki was booked and busy and you staying at home with the child.
Yeah.
And that's I can see how we can prove that.
That's my biggest issue with like broke niggas. Like we always like kiki about it. And don't get me wrong, like as much as like it's a ha situation, like whenever I speak about like I would prefer a guy with money and like broke. Not because I'm not privy to the fact that guys the economy could have and like kunzima man, out there. But at least my corner some sort of like I don't want to say stability. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But mandibon by condense
Yeah.
Because without that, I'm dealing with a lot.
Yeah.
With the fact that I come my relationship, with the fact that knowing from what we've heard is the fact that uzokowa and then uzokuphela bakum.
Yes.
So we're dealing with multiple things. And like we always kiki about the fact that broke niggas are mad at the world.
Yes.
They are always mad at the world. And I'm not trying to deal with that.
Yes.
Honestly, I just don't feel like dealing with that.
And I just want to say to men out there, it's not because like women don't want to deal with that. It's because us women, we're already dealing with a lot of the world, the pressures. And then coming home to another angry man. Like
angry.
we have to
Exactly.
constantly deal with angry man the minute I leave the house. I'm not sure if my Uber's going to kidnap me or not.
Yeah,
I'm dealing with the angry man. I get to the shop, I'm getting harassed as I walk in the streets. I'm dealing with men every single day. And now I need to come back home and deal with another man that I love.
Exactly. And they say, it's not my fault.
You fault yako.
Because
so this is why women don't want to deal with broke niggas.
Dealing with broke niggas.
Because we deal with them every day.
It ain't it.
Oh my God.
It's the one thing you can do for yourself as a girl.
Yeah.
It's literally the one thing you can kind of control when it comes to relationships.
Yes.
Like, but I'm just feeling entertaining it.
Yeah.
Because
and now in Nani Matota, in Domazane high maintenance,
I'm so about that.
Yeah, don't deal. If you feel like this girl Tande weaves and Usi Slay Queen and don't have opinions, shut up. Deal with what you can deal with. Because clearly that's not your spec. The minute you start complaining about something, because one thing women don't hardly ever do is complain what men want. We complain about your behaviors.
Yeah.
We never complain about we're like, yes, want those things. Who didn't
I do have a little bit of a debate about that. But let's not get into it.
But overall, as umdu in general, outside of men and men are good people too. They're understanding, they're also unlearning and what they. But one thing I just want them to like shut up in things that you can't achieve or you can't give that person. But if you think they're a gold digger,
So, final one. Oh, no, not final one. Second last is, remember the whole Sizwe Lomo tweet where he was speaking about, he grew up in a household where they were free kokwabo and they could just open the fridge and eat, sit wherever they want to sit and whatnot.
Yeah.
And people were attacking, obviously, a lot of people, but people were attacking him a lot. And especially because he's a Zulu man. And a lot of people gave, now when I read like the comments, like the dondons, like a lot of Zulu people were just like, hi, whatever. And obviously if you do look at it, like the Zulu culture is much more on the stricter side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, what do you think about that?
I said to you, gotta wrap it up, right? I already expressed that I grew up in both households. Like, well, I grew up like strict, but I strict. I can't explain it. So there's rules, but okay, this is your home. You can do whatever you want. You're free. You can have friends over, sleep over. My parents would even prefer having friends over because they can monitor like, you know, friendships and there's a snacksy pie and whatnot. But with the same time, there was a level of like respect that needs to be implemented. Like, close the curtains, keep the house clean. You know, like maybe don't jump on the couch when you have your friends over. Playroom instead of like a lounge or for example. So there is a balance that I think a lot of people, what they were projecting with Usizwe, they thought Usizwe meant that it's free nilly-willy in that household. But what Usizwe meant ndiyazazi neza household where sisitulo sikatata
sana. That is so embarrassing. That I'm so sorry. Like, if you grew up in such a home, that's very sad. Like, that is such a sad way to live.
Because, you know, Nabu restricted.
Because it's like, okay, do you know what, ne? I say this at the same time, like, if I were to be in a household, ne? In my household, right? Then beyland mana endearingly,
yeah.
But if someone were to sit there, it's not like but it's just like it's his preferred seat. You know how people in households like and whatnot, you know what I mean, and you hold it dear to you. But that's madness.
Yeah,
it's a piece of furniture. Relax.
No, truthfully.
And I'm gonna be deep about this. In households like that, it's always been those households where otata bakhona feel the need to enforce some kind of power because they feel inadequate, and mhlawumbe even feels inadequate in society and other spaces. But
that's where you are mostly a loser to me.
Exactly,
because kids can't even kids bamosha ne culture understand but it's expensive and whatnot, and yes, punish a kid when they do something like that because they need to understand that
the value of things.
But like, do you understand who you're enforcing this power to?
Like this dramatic power. Like aizondanga zakho is
hayibo,
and ingakitsho mzakho uyazoyika pa estradweni. That's the thing.
Do you
get what I'm saying? And I've actually written a thread about this on Twitter, like long time ago. Imizo no tata iyandibhora ke like umntana okhulele ongena tata indiza. Because I'm just like, rule engena sense. That just adds nothing to the child's development.
Nothing.
It's just about enforcing power to a kid.
Yes.
This has nothing to do with anything. And yet it's boring. And I so wish like, you know, as much as sometimes we had to go on the internet and whatnot, but looking at Sizwe as a person, I don't know who knows that life is free out there. There's things out there. There's things to experience out there. No, this is all like an experience as a human.
I think that's the biggest battle with people online with Usizwe. Yes, he is very problematic in all things. It's because Usizwe doesn't realizes that as opinions like are not the limit of life. Nina ngoku nisabambe ke ngokchatha ba, oh my God, loose homes, don't know any debate. Seyidlulile yena, seyenze enye into, bi-30 yangoku. And those literally are the kids who grew up understanding that life isn't linear, isn't rule-based.
Of course.
You are an individual.
Yes.
You are free. You can set your own rules and paces.
Explore.
You can explore things. You can be wrong. You can be right. Like, those are the kids. And I always question myself, but I always ask myself, but abantu abanje yana nje une-anxiety enkulu khawuzibuza uba i-anxiety yakho ivela phi zeza enforcement of
ubusoyika buzoqhaqhazela abazali beni bakhulisa abantwana abaphakuphaku utata xa engena even on the Twitter wrote but utata weni kaloku wena xa umva phaya engena egeyithini uyatsiba because uyoyika because uyayazi ntoni uba utata lapha akafuni nix. Do you get what I'm saying?
And it even stems as deep as like
upbringing.
It's a very scary. It even stems as deep as like to even gets a partner moyikayo. Like to gets a partner that's not your friend first. That's like your boss first.
Baba.
Ask yourself, why are you seeking a partner? How do you say it in Zulu? What are you saying about Zulu people?
This is the second time. Remember that other episode?
As much as I dislike Xhosa niggas, one thing Xhosa niggas are the way that they are is because I understand. But la mantombazana ngamaXhosa sixelele
iindaba zethu
xa befuna.
No, but phumani man because Xhosa really it's not cutesy. And I think I'm even thinking of the fact that like yours even was talking about Lenba wa Fostela about cats like I stand the family and it makes me think of my upbringing, how like when I used to like have boys over at home and stuff like that. Boys, damn. You know, like
how many
whore.
When I was 9 years old.
Cheating on a 9. But yeah, man, like literally, like the boy that I used to date at the time in high school, he used to come over to my house all the time, and one looked like I don't not secret scale, like.
Sorry.
Used to come over all the time, man, and like come on, Lando introduce, and even my guy friends would come to my house because my mom was not gonna pretend like I live in a vacuum. I used to go to a co-ed school.
Yeah.
Like, boys like, and especially once you get to like In fact, uqala ku-13 dozana uzobana crush nentoni, but anyway, even probably younger. But he actually starting to like look at no, I'm just saying. Uqala ku-13, actually even younger. 9.
9 years old.
But I mean, when I'm 16, like you can't possibly sit there and think that I'm not interested in boys in any kind of way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And we are start and girl, it's also a very dangerous place to be in because now you're not teaching me about this
For sure.
You get what I'm saying? And because if they go yiga, then it's just
then I can't be honest with you.
Exactly.
And if something happens, then you know, like you can't go to your parent. And the one thing I did enjoy every time you spoke about your mom is the fact that you always say to Mana, I don't care what souping and is fage. I'll pick that phone up and call my mom, and Nina can't call you because of that. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching.
That was supposed to be the second last topic, actually.
Yes.
But okay, we have to wrap it up.
Yeah, we
otherwise,
really do.
okay, we are off, guys.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you guys enjoy the current affairs topic, it also helps us because it gives us a different topics without having to dab into our lives too much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below anything you want. Have a conversation with us. Tell us how you're enjoying the episodes. Also, please, guys, follow us on social media. Follow Khanya on Instagram and TikTok. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok. We have a whole different type of content on there. We're living a different life. And also, I feel like it's so cool sometimes because we real life snap things that we come back and we talk about that.
So it's nice.
So you can watch that perspective of things and something you can think about. See or follow both of us. I don't know about you, but that's what I would do. Final words from you?
It's your fault actually. But yeah, man, I just hope they enjoyed the episode, honestly.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.